Hello, everyone. Welcome to Listen in 3D, episode number 16. I'm your boy, Justin, aka Too Tall for You Fool.
And I'm Netta, aka Wondrous Net.
And together we are Team 3D, the host of Listen in 3D, where we discuss, dissect, and debate the music and albums in the world of hip hop and other genres. If you're watching us on YouTube, thank you for doing so. But just do us a favor, like the video if you like the content. Definitely give us a comment. We can get into some debates, share it around, and most importantly, subscribe. If you want to help us out even further, if you are subscribed to the channel, click the notification bell. That way, you know when all our videos go live. If you want to podcast the show, we have links to where you can podcast the show at. We're available on Spotify, Amazon Music, and I forget the other one. Oh, iHeartRadio. We're still working on getting on Apple Music or Apple Podcasts. Hopefully, we're on there pretty soon. If you want to email the show, listenin3d at gmail.com. And also, if you go to our website, we have a playlist on all the albums we reviewed so far, some of our favorite tracks, music videos, singles from those albums. So definitely check that out too, at least on Spotify. If we do one on Apple Music, Netta here would have to do it since I'm not on Apple Music. But um, and I believe with all that stuff out of the way, Netta, how you doing today?
I'm pretty good. I can't complain. We got a couple days until 2024, so I'm looking forward to it. How
Y-
about you?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty well myself. Just getting ready for this new year here, and yeah, just kicking back, relaxing. Have a whole week off of work, so that's always good. Catch up on some things, personal things going on. Anyway, let's get into the episode that we are discussing today. And if you don't mind, you want to introduce them, Netta?
Sure. So today we'll be discussing Raekwon's Only Built for Cuban Links. It was released on August 1st, 1995. It was certified platinum on February 24th, 2020. It had singles including Heaven and Hell, Criminology, and Ice Cream and Rainy Days. There were music videos for all the singles except Rainy Days, plus Incarcerated Scarfaces and Glaciers of Ice. There were guest appearances from Ghostface Killer, You God, Blue Raspberry, Inspector Deck, Jizza, aka The Genius, Capadonna, Master Killer, Nas, Method Man, RZA, and Jules.
All right, thank you very much for that. So Raekwon, as we all know him, he is a member, one of the nine members of the Wu-Tang Clan. After they came out with their debut album in 1994, they all branched off. Well, most of them branched off and made solo albums for the most part before the next 1997 release. Um, so this was definitely one of them. Built for Cuban Links, and yeah, just if anything, with the roster of artists on this project, it seems like it was a mini Wu Tang project. Quite frankly, I mean, probably you can make the argument for most of the at least their debut solo albums. What were your thoughts going into this album? Have you heard any of Raekwon's music before, or any of the other Wu Tang members' music?
Never heard of Raekwon specifically, but I've heard in passing of like the Wu Tang Clan.
Mm.
So I knew a lot of people liked them, but I didn't know much besides that. What about you?
Well, as a kid growing up, I listened to the Wu Tang Clan as a whole. Didn't really listen to too many of their solo projects, but definitely. Yeah, we'll get into it in a bit. But I have a song that's usually on one of my playlists that I like to bump from Raekwon, at least this album. So, I mean, I'll tell you what that is in a bit. And then, just in terms of the rest of the Wu Tang Clan, really just Method Man in general was like really the only one I really liked growing up. So, that was pretty. He was, I guess you can kind of say he's my favorite from the group, if that makes sense. But In terms of like the solo albums, didn't really listen to them all that much. So, but
Did you see they had a Hulu like series kind of thing a few years ago, the Wu-Tang thing?
I know what you're talking about. I have not seen it all the way through. If I ever do get a chance, I mean, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that Hulu docu series. Yeah,
Mhm.
I should check it out. I mean, I'll probably check it out one of these days. But I know what you're talking about. Have you seen it or got?
I saw a couple episodes, but I didn't see the whole thing. I know my mom really liked it, and I don't even think she's a like a I don't think she listens to their music, but she
Oh.
really liked the show.
Yeah, well, you never know. I mean, but yeah, so definitely. I hear it's a good series, so I definitely do want to check it out when I do get the chance. All right. But yeah, I mean that. But yeah, growing up, I mean, yeah, I mainly listened to Wu Tang as a whole, not too much their solo stuff. At least a lot of their mid '90s solo stuff, I didn't really listen to a whole lot. But so this was my first time going through this whole album. So I mean, I'll let the audience out there know my thoughts, and we'll definitely get into it and your thoughts as well. All right, so let's get started with the album artwork. What was your thoughts on it?
I thought it was pretty standard. You got Raekwon and Ghostface Killer standing behind him. I've seen people do joint albums before, but I've never seen like a guest star on a joint album. But
Yeah,
I guess this guy is on Ghostface Killer is like on 12 out of 17 of these tracks. So I guess he's like,
yeah,
yeah.
uh, yeah.
And
I
there's
mean,
the Cuban link is surprisingly subtle in
mm,
the on the album cover.
yeah. I mean, yeah, the Cuban link. Yeah, that was a bit weird to me, but definitely, I know. I think he introduces himself as the Raekwon, the chef, and then guest starring, Ghostface Killer. I mean, I know he was like supposed to be the guest star, and then I guess RZA, the producer, he was supposed to be like the director or something. So I guess it was supposed to be, rolled out like as a movie set, and I think it kind of works pretty well if you really think about it. My thoughts, well, though, was I think it really should have just been a joint album between Raekwon and Ghostface Killer because Ghostface is on so many of the tracks. It's
Yeah,
it'd be like me saying, "Hey, I'm putting out this album, but she's gonna be on every song." It's like just make it a joint album. I mean, it'd be one thing if he just did the choruses, but he didn't. So I mean that's just my opinion, but
yeah.
but
It seems like a lot of the older albums are like that because when we did the Chronic, it was like that, and we when we did Easy Does It, like he had his best friend MC Ren on it on the
yeah,
Chronic. Dre had Snoop Dogg prominently
yeah,
all over the album.
yeah. I mean.
These days, they would have definitely just called it joint.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I know with Snoop and Dre, not to get off topic, but I know, well, because that was like the first time anyone hearing Snoop, so that was a little different.
uh,
Easy E and MC Ren. I mean, I guess the argument there could have been, just. I mean, I guess it could have been a joint album too. I mean, MC Ren was on a lot of the tracks there because MCN was already out before they put out that record. So and then uh and then also like going back to this one now. I mean, they were already on like the Wu-Tang album together, but I mean, yeah, I think in this day and age, like if they were to put out an album today, it'd be like, oh, Raekwon and Ghostface. Yeah, it'd be like something like that, kind of like Method Man and Redman, kind of. But I mean, Redman wasn't in the Wu Tang Clan, but just some simple examples there.
hmm.
I don't know. So I mean, all right. So we did that. So it's supposed to be like a movie theme. All right. So let's get into the beats, and there were a lot of great beats on here. What were what was your favorite beat or beats? Or I'm sure you have several favorite beats. It's RZA, so the production is gonna be great.
Yeah, I really liked. It was a toss up for me between Rainy Days and Heaven and Hell.
Mm,
I guess I landed on Rainy Days. I liked how like the the more chaotic the situation was becoming in the song, the more like the beat was changing, and then the
yeah.
lady would actually announce like he's changing. So I really liked that.
Yeah,
It
rainy
felt
day.
kind of dark too.
Yeah, rainy days had that great change up where it's like it starts with like with a slow like classical beat. You can tell he did like a lot of samples. And if you guys want to know the samples, I'm sure you can find them on Wikipedia or somewhere. But I mean, definitely a lot of heavy sampling on this album. I thought the rainy days beat, really liked how it started out slow with that classical beat, and then just gets into the song for the most part. My favorite beat, Criminology. I really like that one. I thought that was like a nice upbeat tempo, and I think with the exception of maybe one other song, I don't think there's really any other beat on there like it. But the other beats, Heaven and Hell had a great beat as well. So I mean, definitely some great beats, guys. So if you like anything that the Wu-Tang puts out, definitely check this one out in terms of beats. Definitely some great beats there.
I with the criminology beat,
Hmm.
that was the first one I actually heard the I know how he's like RZA is heavily influenced with the kung fu thing. That was the first time
Yeah,
I really heard it. I'm sure it's throughout a lot of these tracks more subtly, but that was the
yeah,
first time I was like, "Oh, this really sounds like a kung fu film."
yeah,
And I was looking into it a little bit, and they were like, I was reading an article about him, and it said he frequented movie theaters as a child, for kung fu movies, and the kung fu movies came to dominate his imagination. And I thought, what an incredible thing to do. Like he knows, I'm into hip hop and I'm into kung fu movies, and he's just like combining them. uh he connected with this the kung fu piece so much that he renames Staten Island Shaolin.
Shaolin, yeah,
And
Shaolin.
Shaolin.
Yeah,
And when he goes to visit there later on in life, he felt like it's a pilgrimage. So I thought it's very creative and unique way to make beats.
yeah, definitely. I do like his style definitely, and he put a lot of that old kung fu movies that he watched into these tracks, and not just this album, but just the Wu Tang as a whole as well. Speaking of criminology, let's get into that. As discussing it as the first single since we're on the subject there. What were your thoughts on the single itself and music video for it?
I liked it. I liked how they one of the themes throughout the album was like them, I guess, feeling like they're like enlightening their listeners. So I think one of the first thing he says is, "Many brothers, I be sparking and busting mad light inside the dark." So he sees himself as sparking the minds of people who
Yeah.
are in the dark. It
Hmm.
kind of reminded me of when Lauren Hill said on the score like natural hallucinogen, turning boys to men again with
Yeah.
estrogen dreams, release blues, yellows, and greens. And I also liked when he said, when he called himself a marvelous menace for society. It reminded me of like those movies when people are like, "I'm gonna start some good trouble." So uh, I liked it. What did you think about it?
I thought it was a good song, nice quick song. The music video was real quick. Definitely, just them walking around in terms of just doing what they did. And I like the intro too, where it says Wu Tang, and it just goes like throughout. The song itself, I thought Ghostface had a solid verse, and then um, I'll take. I also do like where Raekwon said, just a minute, son, aka his black bus back like 20, like 70 max. So, I thought he did a really good job there. And then, just the intro and the outro, Julio Iglesias making cream like that. I thought that was kind of cool. Just kind of came out of nowhere, but it is what it is. So a good song. See, next single. Let's go. Since we were talking about rainy days, you want to get into your thoughts on rainy days?
Sure. One more thing about criminology is I thought the video was a little bit creepy. They like had a chessboard and like the people were the chess pieces and they're
Oh
like
yeah.
falling down. I was like, oh my goodness. But rainy days. I like the spiritual side of what they were saying here.
Hmm.
One of the parts he says, "I live once, though the mind stays infinite." It reminded me of like this spiritual belief I came across where people believe that the physical reality is not it's not real, or at least it's not that important. It's the mind that's important.
Yeah.
So it seemed like he was saying that. Um, and then I guess the same part I was saying before. I like when um, they're referencing like the weather. I guess kind of as a symbol for uh, life bringing a storm,
Hmm.
and it's changing the person, and he's turning a little more savage. So I really liked it. What did you think?
It was a good song, definitely. I like the beat change up where it starts at, and then gets into the song. Ghostface spits his first verse. Don't really comment much, but I mean, Blue Raspberry. She did a good job singing there. Definitely. I figured this is going to be one of your favorite songs since I know you're always into like some kind of singing. um,
Yep.
but um, but definitely, I thought the song was solid for the most part. And just yeah. Otherwise, I wish there was a music video for it. Since it was a single, but um, just don't got too much to say on that one. Let's see. Let's get into another single, "Ice Cream." No, this was an interesting song. I like how they were just talking about this the different kind of women. Just I think Method Man I think killed it on, of course. French vanilla, butter pecan, chocolate deluxe, even caramel sundaes is getting touched. And then the women in the music video with just representing all the different races or flavors, I guess you could say. I mean, if you want to put it that way. I mean, it felt like a Wu-Tang song because it must have been a cut from their album because Raekwon had like a really small verse in it. I mean, just I thought that was kind of weird, but I mean, Ghostface did his thing. Cappuccino, he did his thing. Yeah, so I mean, I thought it was a really good song. Good video. What were your thoughts on Ice Cream?
This is an extremely horny song. I thought
Yeah, it was.
it was it was cool though. I like how in the video, everybody has their respective flavor. Like
Mm.
the very dark skinned girl has the chocolate sundae. The caramel colored girl has the caramel sundae. Everybody has their shirts. Um,
Yeah,
it was a pretty catchy song though. It was very catchy.
yeah, it was definitely a pretty catchy song. Definitely was a bit of a horny song. Definitely had to be edited for doing that music video. Didn't It was around the time I started listening to hip hop, so I don't think I really saw too much of this video very much growing up, or even heard the song for that matter. But I mean, it was definitely catchy for for its time. So yeah,
It seemed like they brought the whole community out for this video.
yeah. Well, one thing about Wu Tang, they don't discriminate when when it comes to their women.
Yes, they had every flavor imaginable.
All right. And then before we get into music videos, Heaven and Hell. This was actually the first single off the album. Thoughts on this one?
I really liked Heaven and Hell. The beat. I'm usually more of a lyrics person,
Hmm.
but I found myself my focus just slipping into the beat
Yeah, the beat
every
is a
time.
very good beat. Very good beat.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was like it also reminded me of like the song that plays at the end of Moesha. I don't know why, but I'm like, this is like if they would have like adorned the Moesha beat a little bit, but it was kind of nostalgic in that
hmm
random way. But um, I really like it.
I thought it was a good song. I mean, lyric wise, I love how Raekwon and Ghostface just go head on, just spitting out the whole verse and just going back and forth. So one of my favorites when Raekwon takes over, diamonds what all up in his face with his man's mace, medallions the size of dinner plates. As for the music video, and we're listening to watching some dated stuff here with yeah, those old mid '90s Lexuses, they just did not age very well. Like it's just like you watch that, it's just like, oh my god. Like, I mean, if they should remake a music video, it's because it's such a good song too. Like they should
Yeah.
probably redo the music video for that because yeah, that's rolled around and that just. Yeah, they're just not. I mean, like you watch a West Coast video with like lowriders and stuff, that could still get around today. But yeah, those Lexuses,
Yeah. It's
yeah,
giving extremely regular, normal, everyday car.
yeah, like yeah, and yeah, they just. I had a friend who bought like me, not that exact model, but like a Lexus from the mid '90s, like a while back, and it's just like, yeah, this. Oh yeah, so I had a comment on that, but in terms of great beat. Definitely one of the best. I didn't think it was good as Criminology, but it definitely did have a great beat, and just I feel like they did a very good job as the duet here, and then Blue Raspberry singing in the background as well. I think added some definite flavor to the song. So very, very good song, and we wish it just would have went maybe a little longer instead of like all the shout outs at the end, but but I think for their one verse, I think both Raekwon and Ghostface did a very good job.
Yeah, it was cool. 94 taking niggas to war.
All right, we'll talk about the music videos real quick. Glacier of Ice. Thoughts on the music video? Thoughts on the song?
It, I could barely see what was going on in this video,
It
but
wasn't the greatest quality. It feels if it was a video I had to rank the worst, it would probably be that one, in my opinion. And not
yeah,
just
I
because of
don't.
the back and forth one with black and white. It was the best one I could find in terms of just going through
Yeah,
YouTube.
yeah. I
Song
was
was all
like,
right. Song,
yeah, the song was cool. I was wondering, like, did it look like that? Did the video look like that back then when they dropped it? Was it? I don't
I,
remember.
I would
Was
I
it?
would hope not. I mean, I don't know.
It was like zoomed in at some points, but they were like in some underground spot partying. It was
Yeah,
very colorful.
yeah. And then it's like looked like they were in a garage, and then like black and white, and then it's just like goes back to the color. I mean, I don't think it's the worst video. Maybe it was the worst quality wise, but I don't think it was like the worst video like we've
Yeah.
done on this show. At least not yet. I mean, I'm sure we'll come across some weird ones later on. In
Yeah.
car and in incarcerated Scarfaces. Thoughts on this song or the video?
Um. I guess I liked when they were saying they're gonna knock niggas out the box. They say that we knock niggas out the box all the time. That's more of like the enlightening person in them. Uh, and I liked when they called themselves scholars, word life. I
hmm
thought that was kind of cool. The song was abstract to me. I was expecting them to just really talk about incarcerated people, kind of like that
Yeah.
song we E40 did, but it was kind of like in
Oh,
a lot
One
of
Love.
places.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, that one.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I thought it would have went a little bit more into that. Also, yeah, the song was a little abstract. In terms of that, it was just me personally. It was just hard for me to get into the song, and Definitely, I wanted to just see more of just Raekwon, what he could do by himself. I mean, I thought I could get it with the song, but unfortunately, that wasn't it. But and the video was solid though. Just your typical '90s, rap video for the most part.
Yeah, yeah. They were like in the elevator, behind
Yeah,
bars, on the roof,
yeah. There was kind of just all over
running.
the place. I
Yeah,
mean, it seemed like the whole Wu-Tang uh, crew was in the video with him, but as with most of the videos and songs for that matter. But
yeah.
all right. So now that we discussed all the singles and slash videos, let's get into our top threes for this album. Let's see. I'll let you go first.
I liked Rainy Days. Can
I
it
knew it.
all be Can it all be so simple? And I actually like I like Glaciers of Ice.
Glaciers. Oh, that was one of your favorite. Okay. For me, it was Heaven and Hell, Knowledge God, and Knuckleheads. Those were my three favorites. So we already
Okay.
talked about Heaven and Hell. I mean, that actually is a song that is on one of my playlists frequently. It's definitely my favorite song if I were to rank the three out off the whole album. So we already talked about Glaciers of Ice. For any other thoughts that you had on that one?
Um, Not really. I liked when he said thoughts roll down the shaft of the brain, mental gives signal to the physical. It kind of went to the same thing as when he says, I live once, though the mind stays infinite. Um, Also, he says the treasure is the on the chorus when he says the treasure is the glaciers of ice.
Mm.
Original man possessed the power to hold G's, guns, and grams. I enjoyed that part too.
All right, all right. Let's see. For me, I'll talk about Knowledge God. Like I was just saying right now, I really wanted to find a song that really uh, brought out Raekwon's solo ability since he has features on just almost every song. I think this was the best song he did by himself solo wise, and definitely did the pretty much he did the whole track from beginning to end, doing the chorus and everything. So I thought that was pretty good. In terms of just a two-verse song, but with a long intro. But I did like the part going into the second verse where he's like, uh, "Fly like Casimir. Last year my team caught bodies in Graysmere. Hit a store owner named like Mike Lavino." And I really like that second verse going in. And, I thought it was a good solid song, and definitely it had a solid beat too. So definitely with that whole classical beat going through there, it was actually runner up for probably second favorite beat. So uh, I thought I thought that song was pretty good.
Yeah. As soon as I heard Knowledge God, I was like, this really reminds me of Nas. And then later on in the album, Nas pops up, and I'm like, oh, okay,
Yeah,
they're on the
it does seem
same.
like a Nas kind of beat, Nas kind of song, something he would rap on. So I mean,
Yeah.
let's see. And then what did you like about "Can It All Be So Simple"? The remix, actually, I should say. What did you like about that one?
um, I kind of like this skit in the beginning. When the guy like he gets shot, and then he's just like, I'm going over to God's house, and he's like, take this. He's kind of trying to protect the guy even in death, and it
Oh
felt
yeah.
like one of the themes of the album was like brotherhood. Like in Wu Gambino's, he says, "I
Mm,
call my brother's son because he shine like one." And then I was looking at a interview from Raekwon for Apple Music, the 25th anniversary of the album, and he was saying, the reason that he chose the name of this album,
mm,
only built for Cuban links, is because of number one, the shine of the Cuban links, and the fact that he used to see people try to snatch people's Cuban link chain in the club, and they never
yeah.
could get it because it was so strong. So that symbolized like the bond among the Wu-Tang
Yeah, kind of like
clan.
in the Heaven and Hell video where they're just sitting in the club and then they're back in the back of the car, and that pretty much sums up the whole album, if you ask me. But
Yeah, it's a I like the brotherhood on that song. Can it all be so simple?
and I guess for me, the last one, Knuckleheads. Let me just pull up the lyrics here, but yeah, I thought that was a really good song. I thought it was a great three verse chorus song, and then having You God at the end of it. I mean, I'm not the biggest You God fan, but I thought he kind of killed it on the last verse. I thought if it was one of my favorite guest verse aside from Ghostface Killer, it probably had to be from that song. And then also had a solid chorus, and I liked how Raekwon actually started out the song because it seems like most of the songs he did with Ghostface, it's usually Ghostface starting it off. So that's why it's like it should have been a collab album, but but definitely, it was a definitely a good song. Great way to. I think it was a great way to start out the album. In my opinion, and then after that, getting into Knowledge God, Criminology. With that sick beat there. So I thought, I thought they did real well.
So you God, that's a very interesting name.
Yeah,
Is
he's.
he trying to say you God, or he's saying my name is you?
Mm,
I'm you God.
that I don't know. It's pretty. I don't know. I mean, I've really haven't of all the Wu Tang members. I would have to say I know about him probably the least. A lot of people have told me, even coming from Wu Tang fans themselves, that he's kind of like back of the line, like kind of I don't know, just I don't want to like diss him or anything like that, but
Who is there? Like you say, Easy E was the head of the NWA guys.
mm.
Who was the head of the Wu Tang people?
uh, I would say I'm not sure. Probably RZA because he's definitely like the master mastermind behind the production. I would have to
That makes sense.
say Method. It'd be a toss up for me between Method Man and probably Ghostface Killer, in my opinion.
Hmm.
So I mean, that's just me. I mean, I don't really think the group has had a leader. I mean, I know like NWA can go Easy E, Bone Thugs and Harmony. They probably wouldn't have like a leader either, but I think many people will probably consider Lazy Bone their leader since he's always the one like at the forefront doing interviews, and even without him, there would be no Bone Thugs and Harmony. And then another other handful of groups too, like the Beatles, Paul McCartney. Just laying out a few examples there, but.
I got a Beatles shirt on now.
Oh, I didn't even notice. I didn't even know. I'm like, oh, like I was just trying to think of groups. Like, all right, who do you know? To like the Beatles. Okay, yeah.
So there's no Beyonce of the Wu Tang clan.
I wouldn't think so. No. I mean, they're a great group. Don't get me wrong, and they have probably one of the best logos and maybe not even all of hip hop, all of music. Quite frankly, I mean that W that thing is sick. But yeah, I don't. I think it's safe to say that they don't have a Beyonce in that group.
Sometimes that's for the best.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean,
No Beyonce, no Michelle's.
yeah, yeah, definitely. If you want to keep it that way. All right. So there was one song on here that was kind of a bonus song, North Star Jewels. Did you have any thoughts on that one? I thought it was really interesting how he's just talking and then it just gets into the song like the after like the first 2 minutes or whatever. I thought that was pretty cool.
Star Jewels.
North Star
Oh,
Jewels.
North. Um,
Any thoughts on it, or did you even listen to it?
I listened to it. I all I have written down is "God's my reality." I guess I like that part. But
Okay.
um, what did you like about it?
Well, how he's just talking like through like halfway through the song, and then after that, just finally gets into the beat. Like the intro just seemed like really really long, and then after that, like the music come. Well, I mean, I think there was already some drums, but it just gets into it. But otherwise, nothing lyrically or anything stood out to me. But I thought it was unique. All right, so got some recommendations for this if you guys enjoy this album. Um, if you guys would like to hear more Ghostface Killer, he has an album that came out a year after this one, and sometime in '96 called Supreme Clientele. I hope I said it right. And then Method Man's Tycho would be another recommendation. He was on this album as well. And then, of course, the Wu-Tang Clan's debut album, Enter the Wu, 36 Chambers. I think he'd be making a mistake if he didn't cop that one out. And then just, definitely if you want to get more into it, RZA, Nas was on here also. Definitely check what he had going on during that time. So a lot of good, mid '90s East Coast hip hop, you can get into with this album. All right. So now that we've discussed it, final thoughts on this album?
I thought it was pretty good. I'll be taking back Glaciers of Ice, Rainy Days, Can It All Be So Simple,
Hmm.
and what is that one? I cannot remember it now.
Heaven and
Heaven
Hell.
and Hell, Heaven and Hell, yeah, Heaven and Hell. I'll be
Yeah.
taking all those back.
Yeah. Well, Heaven and Hell, is already on my playlist. I'll be taking Knuckleheads back, Knowledge of God, and what was the other one? Probably Criminology as well. Maybe Ice Cream. We'll see, but lot of good solid tracks on here. Kind of hard to choose which ones was your best. I mean, at least in my opinion. Well, I think the single "Heaven and Hell" is the best song on here, but after that, it was kind of a toss up for me in terms of what makes this album good, what makes it great. All right, so now that we're done discussing Raekwon's only built for Cuban Links. We want to know what you think of the album. What were your favorite tracks? What tracks did you not like? Anything that we missed? Let us know in the comments below. For Netta, aka Wondrous Net, I'm Justin, aka Too Tall for You Fool. Thank you for watching or listening to episode number 16 of Listening 3D. We'll be back right with you again with some more content very soon. Later.